And welcome to Any Given Thursday, the dumpster fire for the homeless. Just a huge blaze, and they're partying it up because why not?
They deserve it. They're homeless. They deserve to have a good time.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Have a party.
Have a party.
Drink a little bit.
Yeah.
Warm.
Warm. Probably doesn't smell great, but I mean, hey.
Hey, what? Hey. Are you? You can't judge a homeless based on how they smell.
I meant the dumpster fire.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
I can't imagine any dumpster being on fire and smelling well.
You could take a dumpster and just fill it with like building materials. Like what if it was a dumpster that was at a construction site and it's just like a bunch of wood and like.
Well, there's a good chance that some of that's pressure treated and both will burn really weird, and also not smell great.
It doesn't smell terrible.
It doesn't smell good.
It's fine.
The dumpster was probably also used somewhere else because nobody's buying a brand new dumpster. They're usually used and not used to being lit on fire. There could be decades worth of filth that you are now burning off of this construction site dumpster.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Rob. Didn't we already do that?
No. we went this whole time. I don't think so. Unless we did and I forgot already that we didn't say our names.
Well, yeah. In that case, I'm still Rob and he's still Kevin.
Right. But I'm still Rob.
And I'm still Kevin?
No, you're still Rob.
Oh, okay. That's good.
This is Rob and Rob now.
Oh, God, no.
No, I think so. Back to the important thing we're talking about here, though.
Yeah.
You could definitely have fires in dumpsters, and it would be totally fine.
I didn't say
it wouldn't even smell bad.
I didn't say it would be not fine. I said it might not smell great.
If you rented out a dumpster, and then like you didn't fill it with anything, you just like.
How are you gonna let it on fire then?
Well, no, you just like throw some wood in there, right? Like you throw logs in there, like you set up a
You
fire.
think they clean their dumpsters before that you get it?
No, but there ain't gonna be that much stuff that it's gonna smell bad. Listen, if you just set up some nice logs in there.
Do you think the homeless are
going.
buying a brand new, clean dumpster and they're lighting that on fire?
Absolutely. That's what they live in. They're homeless. Your options are pretty slim. You have alleyway, you have dumpster, you have like cargo unit.
What about like under the bridge overhead pass?
Yeah, okay. I would classify that under alleyway. It's not an alley. So let me broaden that definition to street.
Mm-hmm.
Dumpster.
Yeah.
Cargo shipping container.
Whether it be street, what if it's like by a canal, by the alley, not an alley?
That's a street.
That's not. It's a water street.
Yeah. Canals are 100% water streets, dude.
You don't always take boats down. I guess that's kind of why you have canals.
The canals were specifically built to be water streets.
What if it's just for water, though, not for modes of transportation, like water movement, like an aquifer?
Nah, it's still a water street. I stand by my statement. What are we talking about, Rob?
Well, no, I think this is relevant, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's, if not a giant dumpster fire for the homeless, what's the craziest thing you think you've ever witnessed?
The craziest thing,
like unexpected. It's just like, what the fuck was that?
That I've witnessed. That I have physically been in person for.
Oh yeah,
or at least in proximity of.
Yeah, I'd say that works. Or been a part of, I guess. It doesn't have to be super directly.
Been a part of. I don't want to implicate myself, Rob.
Well, we've already done that a few times.
The craziest thing I've been a part of is not something that I should tell other people about.
You can tell them about the first time if it's the thing I'm thinking of.
Oh, it's definitely the thing you're thinking of.
I didn't think of that when I presented this. For the record,
that's probably the craziest thing I have been a part of, or witnessed, or had happened to me. Any of those, really. It's the first one that comes to mind, at least.
Okay.
As a bit of a homebody, There's not too many crazy things that I experience.
Sure.
Um, even like even traveling for work, like there's not too many crazy things that I have seen as of yet on the road.
Fair.
I'm sure that will change,
You know.
but just based on life and circumstance. But I have to say the time that I was kidnapped by some of my best friends was definitely the craziest thing that I've ever been a part of.
For the record, not me.
No, this was the good old days.
I don't know why I keep saying for the record, but
For the record, Rob was not involved.
Yeah.
For the record, we're not implicating ourselves.
No.
But for the record,
No. Yeah. If this for some reason were to be used later, yeah,
which it won't be.
Which it won't be, but just in case.
Yeah, no, I think that has to be it. I think it has to be the time that I was kidnapped by a couple of my best friends from high school, and I vehemently worried for my safety, and
did they bag your head? I don't remember.
No, they didn't bag my head. They just grabbed me and threw me in the back of a Chevy Astro van, tan. There was only a driver's seat and a passenger seat.
I always thought it was a white van.
No.
They didn't go full, okay.
No. It was tan. The side still opened. The side opened. They threw me in the back.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was only chairs for the passenger and the driver, so the back was just like cargo space.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was in the back, and one of my buddies was driving. The other buddy was in the back with me, and
as one does,
there were a couple of weapons present that may or may not have caused me some mild concern. Hey, when you're in the back of the van with no windows and you're careening around, dirt roads in the middle of nowhere, you get a little worried. And leaving out a lot of details here.
You are. That's fair. I didn't necessarily purposely do this, so I can see why you're leaving out some details. I'm going to include them though for the sake of this.
Oh boy, okay.
Not all of them.
All right, let's do it.
If I remember the story correctly, you were first found at school.
Yes, it was after football practice. I think it was my junior or senior year of high school. I think it was my senior year. It was my senior year of high school. It was after football practice.
They just scooped you up, threw you in a van.
No, it wasn't after football practice. It was, I think it was after lifting. I think we were out of. It was off season. I think.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I think it was off season.
That somehow makes more sense.
And it was after lifting. So it had to be early. It had to be like no, because I wouldn't be going. I just stayed after school a lot of the time. It could have been any time. Who knows? I don't even know anymore. I'll be honest with you. Maybe it was like January for all I remember. Who knows anymore? No, because I was driving the Rendezvous at the time.
I have no idea, Kev. I wasn't there.
I know.
I wasn't around.
I'm piecing this together because it wasn't cold. It was warm.
Okay.
Right. So
all right.
It wasn't like November or December.
It wasn't January.
It had to be like either a warm March or an April, I would think. But if I was driving the Rendezvous, that wouldn't make sense. The 2004 Buick Rendezvous.
Is that like a?
That was the vehicle. That was my dad's car.
Oh, okay.
That he beat to shit from work, and then I got to drive it to school.
Got it.
And then I beat to shit because it was
your first car.
Yeah. There's some stories. Yeah, some stories there too. We're probably going to get to them.
Okay.
But yeah. So yes, fill in the details. Yes, it was in high school.
In high school, got thrown into the Astro van.
Yep.
I for some reason thought you were tied up to some degree, but I've been wrong before.
No, I wasn't tied up. Yeah, no mask, no like nothing on my wrists or anything. Just forced into the back and then careened down dirt roads and roads that aren't roads, and
I believe you ended up at a construction site.
we did. We ended up at an abandoned construction site that still had a lot of equipment there for it being abandoned.
I hear they used to do that with quarries. Quarries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
It's all right.
And the like. Anyway, and then they brush you out into this construction site, and may or may not have threatened you with a weapon.
Yes, may or may not have threatened me with a weapon to the point where my parasympathetic nervous system reacted, and I went into fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And I may or may not have chosen fight. I may or may not have reached for the closest lead pipe, which I don't know how good it was going to be in the situation. But I was prepared to go down swinging.
These were your best friends in high school, eh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I love these guys.
All right.
Yeah, they were so great. Yeah, good people. I know it doesn't sound like it. I just told the story in bits and pieces, and they may not sound like friends, but
Yeah, when he tells the whole story without reservations of being recorded and in full detail, it sounds a little horrifying.
yeah. But I mean, you know who your real friends are, because the ones that are your real friends are the ones that are willing to kidnap you, right? That's how that's the world that I grew up in. That's how you find out who the real ones are.
So
If they throw you in the back of a van, you're like, well, I didn't know we were this close, guys. It brings a tear to my eye.
So I forgot about that. I was expecting something new. And the idea was that, as you know, I've been in a few of those sort of circumstance.
Crazy experiences
Yeah,
that last with you for lifetimes
yeah,
and are begrudgingly told.
yep. I'm not doing the largest one that comes to mind
Okay.
for specific reasons.
Yep.
But most recently, one happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I witnessed a shooting
Yeah.
just driving home.
Yeah. Relatively close.
Yeah, it was just a couple miles from my house,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a drive by. I was driving. They were parked. Is it a drive-by shooting then? I don't know how that works.
Parked by shooting,
Yeah. They took off immediately afterwards, but they were not driving as they were shooting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's probably a different term for it than drive-by shooting.
Right.
But maybe. I don't know.
Regardless, it scared the shit out of me at the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been in other weird-ass circumstances. So I was like, in retrospect, right, would somebody else have taken it worse or better?
Oh.
Like
Hold on. My brain just caught up. Because you've had so much crazy shit happen to you over your life,
yeah.
maybe this, like, you're taking this better, or it's not affecting you as much
Right.
as potentially some people who have not experienced as much crazy shit in their life as you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So I mean,
I would lean yes. I think in that. I mean, obviously it's how you're feeling. So
oh
I
no.
don't know, right?
I'm curious of your yeah.
I would think. I don't know. As I said, you're the one going through the experience, but I would think after a while, you may start to get desensitized to some things,
Right.
and like things all of the crazy shit that happens to you is always different enough that I don't think you can ever be fully prepared.
No.
No. Ever. But there have been, I think, enough volume of things.
Sure.
That maybe overall you are mildly desensitized to new crazy shit happening. Or maybe, I don't know if that's right, but you're like less surprised, maybe potentially like subconsciously expecting it even, in a sense. But
right. So, okay. All right. Real quick rundown. Right. So that most recent one, I had a car stolen that was then used in a fatal pedestrian hit and run.
Yeah. A lot of death.
Sometimes.
Oh, wait, no. There was no death in this other one? As far as you know?
I don't, as far as I know, no.
Oh, okay, well,
in the most recent one, everybody's fine.
That's good. Okay,
never mind. Yeah, there was that one.
A lot of police involvement. We'll say that.
There's been some police involvement throughout the time. There was that time I almost got hit by a car and rolled the quad real good.
Yeah.
And I walked away fine from that one.
Thankfully.
But I've seen other like accidents and things. I've been T-boned.
Yeah.
A few other accidents. And otherwise have seen some kind of random things. I have not been kidnapped, luckily. Can say that. I
mean,
for now, should not have mentioned it.
Once it happens, you kind of get an itch for it.
Oh yeah, you just really want to be unexpectedly abducted again?
No. You just like once it happens to you and you're in on the joke.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. I mean, I've told you the second part of the story.
I wasn't going to mention it.
Oh well, hey, sometimes you just get a taste for things, right? I don't know if that's the proper way to phrase it. But it's like Stockholm Syndrome, right? Like
you were part of it, it scared the shit out of you, but you're like, hey, but what if other people experience that?
Right? It's in a weird way, it's a whole nother level of bonding between mates. Yeah. I'm rethinking as I'm speaking. To that point, after this, like, at the time, traumatic experience, I will admit.
Sure.
Later, I mean, I look back at it and I laugh now just because, obviously nothing bad happened. And nothing bad was ever actually going to happen, but...
you didn't know that at the time.
No, I did not actually. No. Like I said, it was it was a subconscious fight or flight response, and I knew I couldn't run, so I was going to try to fight.
Yeah, it'd be hard to outrun the weapon of choice at the time.
Yes. So, I mean, and plus, I'm not a fast runner. I wasn't.
That's fair.
Even when I was in shape in high school, I was not a fast runner.
Same. I mean, yeah, I get that completely.
So, like, I had no chance. But, once you're in on the joke and, you have a wider group of friends, a larger net that you can cast, so to speak.
Sure.
It's fun to see it from the other side as well. It's
how is this person going to react? Which I guess you had a little bit more control over at the time than in some of the other instances that people have gone through.
Right.
You're not going to be kidnapped and then just start kidnapping people.
No.
That'd be bad.
Yes, right. Who would do that? I definitely did not partake in the playful kidnapping of Tiggs. Nickname for another one of my friends from high school, who was not part of the original crew, and was not having it. Not a big fan, oddly enough. I mean, I was also not having it when it happened to me, but I don't know. His was much tamer.
If you say so.
From my perspective, his was much tamer.
Oh shit!
I got to be the person that pushed into the van this time, so hey, it was a lot easier than the one being pulled into the van.
That's probably fair to some degree.
Yeah, all of these people. I just want to put this out there. All these people are alive, and they are still my friends, and I still communicate with them.
No charges were pressed. No police were alerted.
Right. We're like, it was all in good fun. I know it sounds bad. I don't have another way to phrase it. It sounds bad.
Shit.
But it was all in good fun. Tiggs, we did a lot of shit to Tiggs. Yeah. There was one time in the senior parking lot. We didn't kidnap him, but we were driving and we were playing chicken.
What?
Yeah.
You and Tiggs?
Yeah. We were playing chicken. He was driving a Ford Exploder, and I was in the Buick Rendezvous.
Oh my god! I feel like the Exploder is a bigger car. I don't know what a Rendezvous is, but okay.
It is.
It's like a 4-door sedan.
It was like, no, it's an SUV.
Oh, okay.
It's an SUV. But it's not like it's not a large SUV like an Exploder, you know?
Yeah.
So no, he got the Exploder from his dad after the vehicle that we played chicken with died.
Not because of
No.
Okay.
No, he was driving. I was always jealous of him. He was driving an FJ Cruiser. I used to love those things. I wanted one, but I couldn't fit in it very well. It's a Toyota FJ Cruiser. It's like the short, like boxy one that had like really bright colored tops, and it was like a gray or black like base, like a trim. They were super neat looking.
Okay.
Always wanted to drive one. They were like. It was I don't know, very boxy and like anti-aerodynamic, but I don't know. At the time, I thought it was the coolest thing.
Sure.
It's kind of like a Bronco, but a little different.
Sure.
But like similar vibe, I guess. Taller ceilings on the inside, but they were a little narrow in the like shoulder width.
Sure.
But anyways, yeah, we're just playing chicken. And we're just going, and like we get to a point where we're close, so like we're on our brakes, and we're just like slowly letting off the brake to see who's going to get closer, you know, and like we're probably like inches from each other at this point, and I'm not going to lose.
Oh God! Of
So,
course not.
I'm not going to lose. So, but again, we were close, right? We were close. He stops. He puts it in park, and I just let off the brake, and I roll into him. And I put my foot on the brake immediately after. It was a light little love tap. It wasn't anything crazy.
Question on it, though. Who was on the correct side of the road for the circumstance?
Neither of us. We were going down the middle. So
of course. Okay, never mind. All right.
There's no lines.
It was equal fault, at least.
It was between the two speed bumps.
Yep.
So we went up over the speed bumps and then like sped up towards each other. And then he stopped, and I just gave him a little love tap. And he was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I remember he was pissed at that one.
Yeah, probably.
It was just a little love tap, but you know, nothing bad happened to either of them. So.
Shit. No, wait.
Sorry.
No.
That had nothing to do with what we were talking about. It's just crazy. This became crazy shit that I did in high school instead of crazy shit that happened to me.
No, that's fine because it made me remember one of yours that you forgot.
Oh.
You rolled a vehicle on the highway.
Oh, yeah. I did do that on my mom's 50th birthday. Yeah.
Which, it still blows my mind that you did that and we're fine.
Yeah. Yep. January 2015. Yep. Just over 8 years ago. 8.5 years ago. Yeah. Yep. That was a time. That was I forgot that happened. I mean, I didn't forget it, but I couldn't remember that it happened right now, right?
Sure.
Obviously, that's never something you actually forget, but
except for like parts of the moment because it blacks out a little bit.
Right.
You repress some of it, and you're like, I'm fine. It happened really quick.
Yeah. No, that was wild. That was wild. That was in. Technically, I was in Vermont at the time. But I was on 91, right? So like, you know, you're back and forth, right? Yeah. And I was coming home. That was the worst part. So I was on my way home. I was gonna make it back for my mom's party. You know, we had the whole family coming over.
Sure.
You know, it was getting a little warm in the vehicle. You know, you're on the highway, so you don't really want to roll the windows down. I already had the heat off, but I was just warm. I had my coat on, and I tried to take off my jacket. and it did not go well. You start drifting over to the left. You grab the wheel, spin it out, overcorrect to the right. You realize, oh shit, I'm going too far to the right. So then you immediately turn it all the way back to the left. And in doing so, your car turns around, flips over onto its head, back onto the tires. And I landed, as you know, as I've told, facing the highway in the snowbank with like the hood like kind of crushed over top of me and like
wild.
glass shattered, and I'm sitting there like freaked the fuck out with my adrenaline pumping like crazy.
Yeah, I can relate to that one.
Time was, like slowed because you're so in tune that you're experiencing everything. So like it feels like time is taking forever. Yeah. Oh no, I know like it like it's it's wild, man. It's fucking wild. Yeah, but yeah, not a scratch. Not a I had a little bit of seatbelt burn actually. That was
that would make sense.
And like I mean aches and pains. Like
for sure.
Like just all of my muscles were like ooh and like trouble sleeping for a couple days.
Yeah.
But aside from that, nothing broken, nothing fractured.
Right.
Nothing strained or.
That was like when I freaking rolled the quad.
Yeah.
I got up and over it. I'm like, okay, I clearly dodged the truck.
Yep.
I'm like, I must have ditched the ATV because it's a good 30 feet in the woods that way.
Yep. And your neck's not broken because you're moving.
Yeah. So I was fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything broken. I was just sore for a while. The same when I got T-boned. It was like, it was a really weird moment of, I thought I made it through that green light intersection. And then from the side and your whole body shifts. And then
not even your fault.
No, not that one. No. You know what? And I think what probably prepped me for that some is, I don't know if I've told you this one. When I was getting close to 16 and I was learning to drive, me and my dad were on our way back from some sort of event.
Okay.
It was just the two of us in the truck, and he had probably had a few beverages.
No.
And he decided to try and teach me, while he was driving, how to correct when you're sliding.
Oh.
Except for he was like weaving in and out of like a main road and like fishtailing in between like telephone poles.
Oh, good.
It scared the living fuck out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was like a straightaway. It was pretty late at night. There was nobody else around, but it was like, Dad, what this is? I don't need to learn this like this right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is not the time.
Yeah.
It is the place. And it kind of is the time, but like it's not it's
better circumstances.
Yes, right? Yes. Yep.
It might have actually given me overconfidence because that other time I was in a car and was coming down and around a corner and thought I had enough room and didn't realize there was a little bit more ice and went through a cow fence.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, I remember hearing of that one. I wasn't there, but I remember
that's because Andrew, like saying that I'm the one who freed the cows.
Yes, he would.
Yeah,
some things.
He's on the cow side.
Some things you can never forget. Some things he'll never allow us to forget. So, how do you think the cows felt about that, though?
They weren't even near me. Okay, that's the part that
breaking into their home.
He's like, "Oh, you were freeing the cows." I'm like, "No, it was a cow run between two barns, and the cows were well away."
Hopefully, or thankfully, I should say.
They were nowhere near.
Otherwise, you're bringing steaks home.
No, I don't think so. I had to pay the farmers to fix the fence, so they probably would have me pay for a cow. I don't even want to know how much a cow is worth.
More than a fence.
Way more than a fence.
Yeah.
Especially like a split rail fence. Come on. I was fine.
Yeah.
The car was pretty much fine. It was, in my defense.
In your defense?
Defencing. It wasn't my car.
How is that better?
I didn't know that the tires were completely bald. Like, if the tires had any tread at all, I probably would have been not hitting a cow fence.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I think there's too much faith in the individual that lent you that vehicle.
Yeah, no, you'd be right there.
I think I'm gonna say that one.
No, you'd be right there. But yeah, I mean, I've been in the
also in the fault of said individual for lending you a vehicle with bald tires.
Well, hey, I also witnessed that said individual when I was like 8 try to marry 2 people in some sort of Wiccan wedding at 3 a.m. So whatever. I don't know why I was awake and a witness to that event, but it happened.
I mean, someone had to be. So, okay. In mild defense, I believe in some practices there are a certain amount of witnesses that need to be present. Also, talk about a cultural learning experience for you. To be involved in something like that.
I was like the only kid still awake. All of the adults were outside doing whatever you do at that sort of party, I guess. Was watching, I think, Alexander the Great, which I'm pretty sure was rated R at the time. It was a very long and graphic movie. I was just chilling in the living room, and then all of a sudden they come in, and they're gone, and they're like, yeah, come over here. And it was a whole weird thing to be witnessing at that age.
Fair. Added to the list of crazy shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, everybody has different crazy shit, right? Like, okay, again, a couple weeks ago, maybe when a shooting didn't hit. No, I did witness a shooting.
Yeah.
It didn't hit my vehicle, but I was fine.
Yeah. Thankfully.
But there are some people where that's just happening around them.
Yes. That's the society we live in, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I was close to it. I mean, I was very close. I saw the gun, but like some people, there's just shootings in their freaking road and shit. And so I feel like it's not all events too. I've, again, as you said, had a variety of events.
Mm-hmm.
So the desensitization is, we're
close. You're close enough.
Close enough.
You're close enough.
Is to like a wider variety of just shit might happen.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not like I'm used to shootings or car accidents or my house getting locked down.
You should be
various purposes.
Really good at car accidents, though. Like you should be super desensitized to that one. But
yeah, okay. I went through 3 or 4 cars in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I've told this to
Rob was an insurance risk.
But none of them were my fault.
Yeah, that's why the insurance company didn't want to insure you. I wouldn't either. Like, shit, how the fuck can this guy keep getting away with us paying for this shit? That's the opposite of what we're supposed to do.
So my first vehicle, after driving for like 2 hours, I was turning into my apartment at college, slowing down, ready to make the turn. A deer hits me on the side of the vehicle, rolls over the damn thing, messes up the front end, but like it's drivable. I was still debating fixing the damn thing, and so that's why I'm pretty sure that whatever forces be were like, no. So because 2.5 days later, there was a large rainstorm with some crazy wind. We kept losing power. In between losing power, the power was on, there was a large crash outside. And I turned to my roommate at the time, and I was like, hey, I bet that was my car. Joking.
You can't say these things.
No, I can't. Because then the power goes out again, and we're like, well, why don't we go outside and see what that crash was? And there was a large tree that literally fell and crushed both my roommate's car and mine. So that one got hit by a deer and a tree within a 2-day span.
You pissed off Mother Nature.
Real bad.
I don't know what you did, but like she was mighty upset with you at that period of time.
Apparently.
Yeah. Wild.
So, people have different traumas and they get desensitized to different shit. And this actually came up at work recently.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm in this task force with a number of municipal enforcement agencies. and we're looking at how to most effectively and in an ethical manner address hoarding cases.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so I have been in a hoarder's house before I started working here at all. That's happened once or twice, actually, just by happenstance and me being me.
Yes. Right.
And they were saying, they were like, well, I think so. One of the fire marshals was like, well, I don't always know what I would consider to be something to be calling social services at. Like, okay, it's bad, but I can get around, right? Like, is this something that's worth? And she's
there's pathways.
Yeah, there's pathways. It's not necessarily unstable. And then they like get a hold of somebody from health, and they're like, they went to the same thing a couple days later, and they're like, this is awful. We need to call pronto. But it's like some people are just like, we were talking about it in this meeting. We're like, what your experiences are desensitizes you to like what's what is really bad.
Yeah.
What is the norm?
I would say in like it sounds like in that situation specifically, there's also a like not only I do believe the desensitization is a part of it, but I would say that there's also like either a gap in knowledge or like because obviously like the health people that come in are going to have a better understanding of like a safe space for someone to live. I would say than like a fire marshal would be my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong, but like that's just how my brain.
Well, they presented it not necessarily from that standpoint, but because they've seen worse, I guess.
Oh. Okay.
So
did they do less for worse or about the same for worse?
I don't know, and so that's the tricky part, and that was actually what we were kind of talking about is like okay, the reason why we have this task force is that way we can let one of the other agencies know. Mm-hmm. And the goal is not to be finding people. Actually, of everybody there, I'm the one with the stick who's like, haha, you fucked up. You ignored all of the people who were trying to help you. Now I'm here.
Good, do it.
And really, I don't even get involved that often in hoarding cases unless they're hoarding animals, because that's not good.
Yeah.
But just general hoarding of junk, that's mostly everybody but me. Mm-hmm. But the task force was designed in order to be like, okay, we need to get the different agencies who might be involved and approach us together and know when to contact each other. But even then, again, like you're saying, some people just, we all have different standards of how we're looking at something.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, this is like tangentially related and kind of a really shitty thing that happens in our world. But I think of like DCF caseworkers.
No, 100%.
Right? Like, and like, how do you? A couple different things, right? So if you are like if you're someone who works for DCF, right? If you're a social worker that works for DCF,
yeah.
How do you make the decision to take a child away from a parent, right? In some cases, right? That because I can only imagine how difficult that would be. In other cases, how can you not take children away from some parents, right? Like I feel like they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. So you're either breaking up a family,
yeah,
for the betterment of that child, in theory, not always in practice, but in theory,
yeah.
But otherwise, you're letting them live in a potentially incredibly dangerous environment.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you know what? I love the way that your tone shifted between the two sides of what you were saying. Because at first I was going to say, oh, you're blaming the DCF workers. And then you're saying, no, the DCF workers have a really hard job. And I think both are true. It's really hard to know how and when to do some of this shit.
Yeah. And then not to mention, like, there are families that are disproportionately more targeted by DCF. Like, black and brown families are, like, what is it, like 60% of DCF cases or something like that? It's something like that. Like, it's a high number. Which is, like, a whole nother issue in and of itself. But
for probably a multitude of reasons, because it's like, who gets looked into more, right? What are the cases that get brought up more? Is it because a certain group is being targeted more and potentially involved with, or like more unjustly being accused of things?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if single parent because somebody accidentally got, or not accidentally, but unjustly got arrested or something,
Mm-hmm.
it's stuff happens.
Yeah.
When I did my internship in Hartford, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, another just odd experience that I had working in a building in a very impoverished and dangerous neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Dangerous in the sense that there was a bullet hole through the building I worked in.
Yeah.
And we met with cops who said the intersection was the most homicide rate they've ever seen in all of their years of being a cop as a chief in multiple towns.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I never felt threatened while I worked there.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other, internships that we went to was like they kind of were branched near one of the hospitals in Hartford,
Okay.
but they were losing funding, and actually our like cohort is what you would usually use, but like my group of guys who did
Yeah.
the urban studies program together,
Yeah.
our final project was actually trying to write an awareness to keep them open.
Oh.
And it was a children's advocacy group, and they were losing funding, and they deal directly with DCF. And so they were telling us like it's really hard, but we're in the field, and kind of the same stuff you're saying. Like we need to know, when parents or kids need to get that call,
Mm-hmm.
or when they've been assaulted in unsavory ways, and
Yeah.
how to address that. And they were getting defunded and going to be closed, and they were like the only one in that region. And so the people who are like having some of the shittiest jobs doing like work that needs to be done, and
Mm-hmm.
it just gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they still in operation?
I don't know,
Are you aware?
actually. Now that I'm like reminded of this and saying it, I hope so. If I think back, I don't know if they did.
Okay. Do you remember the name or?
I don't. I remember
Okay.
where it was, and I
Fine.
could find it because of that.
That's fine. I'm just curious.
But I don't remember the name of the organization.
I only asked because having worked in Hartford for a little while, I'm like I may or may not have heard of it, but I don't know.
It was out of a building. It was out of a building, like basically on St. Francis campus.
Okay, probably not then.
Yeah, it was a little bit further because you were over on the
Probably
south
not.
end.
Yeah, I was on the south side. So yeah, no, I very likely would not have. But
Although that's another great example, actually.
there's a lot of crazy shit that happened there.
Oh, right, but like like just in terms of things you get desensitized to, and like traumas that make you react differently to things, like
Uh-huh.
a middle school teacher in the South End there would probably have seen and could potentially put up with a lot more shit than some suburban easy ass.
It's never easy.
Well, that's fair.
It's never easy. The pay is never good enough, and the work is, much longer and intensive than it. I don't know if it should be, but then it's recognized.
Gets credit for.
Yes. There's a reason I don't teach anymore. So
I know. It just seemed like it came up and was a good example. We do not have to.
Oh yeah, no. No. I saw a lot. And there's a lot that I could say, a lot that I'm not going to say for like the kids' sake more than anything.
Sure.
Just I don't want to step on any potential FERPA rights or anything along those lines, which
No.
it wouldn't be because I wouldn't be saying any names or anything, but just to be safe.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm going to refrain from sharing those experiences.
Yep.
But yeah, there were some wild ones. There's some wild ones that I will remember forever. There's a lot. There was a lot. Um, and it's not the right hard. It's hard because you feel for the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then things happen, and like you're not supposed to take things personally.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to.
It's always hard not to. I mean, I get that at my job now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
completely different. I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with kids.
Yep, you're not supposed to take things personally. But you need to be thick-skinned. You're not supposed to take things personally, and it's very hard not to do that.
It's hard not to do that in any setting, let alone
Yeah.
coming from the people you're trying to help.
Yeah, which is also feels shitty. God damn it! I'm trying to help you. I want to make you a better person. Nice. That sucks. Sorry about that, folks. Rob committed alcohol abuse just now.
They say no crying over spilt milk, but not about spilt beer. You can cry over spilt beer.
Yeah. It's okay. Well, I'll help you through it. You know what's one of the craziest things that ever happened to me? Watching you spill a beer. That was pretty crazy shit, man. But no, so it's as we were saying, it is hard to experience negative things from people that you're trying to assist, and especially when, I would say it's hard for them, I would assume, to determine whether or not I'm being genuine. I was being genuine.
Yeah, but in their mind, they're
past
like,
life experience.
they're just like, oh, you're another teacher, so
Right. Which I was just another teacher, right? We all have good intentions. We don't get into, we didn't get into the profession.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yikes. Most
no,
get in because for the good intentions.
Yeah, like cops.
Ooh. Probably.
Hopefully.
Hopefully they choose to do that because they have a desire to help and not to hurt.
Yep. My comment was going to be that I had earlier is actually on the spectrum of people who see a lot of shit at work and who are greatly desensitized to things.
Cops.
Cops. One of the calls I got called on, I'm going to give minimal details for a whole bunch of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I got called into a house because there was a domestic case. Cops had it on lockdown. I get called in because, they went in to make sure everybody was okay, and there was 11 beds in this place.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be a 2-bedroom single-family home.
Mm-hmm.
So I get called in because that's too many people to live there by zoning, probably.
Likely. Yeah.
Likely. Still.
It's just 11 people. They're all in the same family. It's a family.
Still unresolved. And so, but when we got there, the cops we got called in. Two of the people who live here potentially work together, and they got into a heated argument, and one stabbed the other in the head with a frying pan handle. And so my first thought...
How do you even do that?
Yeah, exactly. How do you do that?
Do you sharpen the end of your frying pan?
So my only thought, right, is that they were already in a heated debate, and the area it happened is right near the front door, which was relevant because they told us this, and then they were immediately like, when you walk into the place, watch out for the blood on the ground. And everybody else was kind of ooh, okay, except for the senior building official, because he's clearly seen some shit. Me, who just was yeah, okay, I'll just step over the blood. And then the cops, who obviously deal with this altogether too often.
Hmm.
But my only guess is that because it was right near the entry and that it was right by the stairs that go upstairs, is that they were chasing them with a frying pan and they hit them a few times and then it broke and then they said, "Fuck it, this is broken. I'm gonna just hit them in the head with it." Is my
Ooh,
guess.
that's a cheap frying pan if it breaks just from hitting. Yeah.
Depends how good you're hit. I don't know. I don't. I
Nah.
look. That is my only guess for how this happened. But like that's the thing. I saw a lot of shit that day.
Yeah.
It was like 3 days after that where I get called into a house that had 16 dogs.
That's too many dogs.
There's too many dogs. I walk into the house and it's deafening amount of dog barking and smells like pee.
Yeah.
And that was 1 week.
How do the neighbors not complain about that?
They didn't complain. That's actually, that one got found because the woman who had the dogs and was hoarding dogs, fell. And so the cops, I believe, went in to help them, or the dogs are barking like aggressively a lot because she was hurt and fell.
Yeah.
And then the cops come to help her and they're like, what?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how the neighbors don't complain. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
That's too many dogs.
Like it was a call out of concern, not a call because of complaint of dog barking.
Yeah.
Which we do get from time to time. But like that's the kind of stuff I mean. Like you just like I'm tangentially related to like some crazy stuff like that for police.
Mm-hmm.
When zoning officers get together and tell stories, shit is wild. I was talking to this one woman, and she was the CEO for a community near the airport.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, she's getting complaints that there's this big like event pop-up tent with walls in front of this property. And she's like, I don't really know what's there. So it takes a little while because we do a lot of shit.
Yep.
And she finally gets out there, and it was like by happenstance they had apparently all the permits. It was like full of cadavers. Like it was an AC'd tent that they had to erect because something got bumped in scheduling and was like for doctors, and it was full of like cadavers and freaking organs and shit. And by the time she was like even ready to try and go back out and address this again, it was gone already.
Of course. Right.
But like I could just walking into something like that, it's like what who was expecting to be like, oh yeah, this tent looks like it shouldn't be here. That's against the minor zoning rules that I have authority over. Let me open it and find a bunch of freaking cadavers.
Yeah. That's definitely not the most anticipated thing to find in a tent, I would say. Like potentially like shelter for a couple homeless people,
it's an event tent. Think like a big fancy tent that apparently had a cooling system hooked up to it. Because cadavers.
Well, yeah, you gotta keep them cold.
Yep.
Otherwise, there was gonna be some smell complaints. So, and it was for doctors, huh?
Yep. Apparently they had licensing. Supposedly.
I don't know if I believe it.
I don't know if I do either. But that's that's what I said. Is she went back. I don't remember if it was like to say, hey, you can't do it, or just like with somebody else who has more authority over something like that. But it was already gone. So
what are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
it's out of a person in my position's hands at that point.
Yeah. Wild. So there's only more incredibly crazy shit to come.
Yeah, and apparently because I've already experienced some crazy shit, when I just happened to walk into more, It'll just be fine. I'll just
You're
be
just used
ready
to
and
it.
willing to accept it. Literally the morning after the shooting the other week, I texted like my work group chat. I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna be a little late. Preface this, I'm okay. I'm a little tired. Was up real late. Had to speak to some cops. Witnessed a shooting, and my boss's first reaction was like, "Only Rob."
Yep.
It was only Rob, ellipse.
Yep.
That's it. That's all he said until I was in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I got nothing else to say to that. That is the perfect way. Like, yes, only Rob. You are the only person I know that like, you are the excitement, I think in so many people's lives. Just because, like, anything that may have happened to them will just be dwarfed in comparison to the shit that you've had to experience.
It's not true though. Like, you've mentioned things that I would have no clue about.
Okay, so you've never kidnapped someone.
Or been kidnapped is what I meant. Been kidnapped.
Right.
Neither. I haven't done neither. Actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I wasn't even trying, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Truly, I say to you. That's a church thing. That was weird.
Was it?
Yeah, anyways.
I wouldn't know.
But here's the thing, Rob. I think if you right now were to be fake kidnapped, that you would still be pretty okay. Like, I think I think you would react all right to it. I don't know. I feel like you've been through enough shit that it's just another one to add to the checklist. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, now I can say that I got kidnapped too,
This is not me asking you to kidnap me. I forgot about this story.
Not what I was saying.
Yeah, you don't know anybody with an Astrovan
anymore. No, it got sold. Actually, it shit the bed, from what I remember correctly. That was a nice van, though. Like, it wasn't at all.
No,
but
it sounds awful.
But the memories of that van, that's truly the incredible experiences. Really, nostalgia really improves a lot of negative experiences, I would say. It's like things get funny over time.
Yeah.
And you become more okay with telling stories and laughing at yourself. And even like the stupid shit that you did, or like shit that you were, I don't know, like embarrassed by at the time, or whatever, right? Like, years down the line, you're like, why the fuck did I care? And then you look back at it and laugh. So, or it gets brought up on numerous occasions, and you just have to laugh, even if you don't remember it happening fully. So
yeah, those both happen. Like, when your house is on lockdown because somebody is missing, and you're being interrogated by cops, and you're only in cargo shorts on your curb.
Right.
Stuff happens sometimes.
And now you can look back at that and be like, fuck. That was some shit. And it's a story. It's definitely a story.
Not one that we're telling all of here.
Nope. But it's something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Or like, hey, don't make me angry, Rob. Sometimes you do crazy shit, and you just gotta. You just gotta.
To be fair, I don't think you were embarrassed about that at the time.
I wasn't at the time at all. No, I was not embarrassed at the time. I was like plastered at the time.
Yeah. Just get Kevin angry. He'll show you his penis.
Yeah, probably.
And you made it through.
It only happened once. It only happened one time. Okay, just because 100% of the time that I was angry and drunk, it happened. Doesn't mean that's. I'm sure I've been angry. I've been angry and
You're not a very angry drunk.
No, I'm not.
You get perturbed occasionally, but
I'm not a very angry person.
no.
You know, that's why I just bottle it all up and then let it out in like, you know, not good ways or you know whatever. This is a different conversation. Anyways,
Do you feel traumatized by this podcast? Are you going to file a complaint? I wanted a third. I couldn't think of one. 1-800.
Do you relate to our experiences?
Oh, there we go. 1-800. We don't give a fuck. Thank you. You've
Not
made
a real number.
If it is, it'd be fun.
We're not actually sending you there unless we are. Yo, you want to set up a phone number? No. Just a text line, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's your local library.
Yes. Well. Thank you for listening to our crazy shit and traumatic experiences.
Some of them, yeah.
And also debating how individuals would react somewhat, and how desensitized Rob is to all of the crazy shit that happens to him in life. And I think potentially how desensitized I am because of all the crazy shit that Rob has experienced in life as well.
I witnessed the shooting. My first thought was not, I should call the cops. It was, I'm tired. Did I just see that?
Well, you gotta, sure. No, I think that's a fair thing. But yes, you should definitely call the cops. But it's a good thing you did. But because, you know, good to get. Anyway, you made it. Somehow, incredibly. And, you know, as always, we love you.
He does.